Good morning. How is everybody doing out there? And here comes Jackson. Jackson just almost knocked the freaking my desk over, bumped into it. Jackson, you're turning into a pretty big dog. How weigh Jackson? I think you weigh, what is Jackson? 70 pounds. All right. Let's see what's going on this morning. Start with the market, of course. I was looking at a long-term chart of bonds. That's not the most interesting thing to look at, but let's look at SPY. All right, here's a 30-minute chart of SPY, which is pretty interesting to look at. We pulled back into a bullish gap area where I would have expected buyers to be there, and I'd also expect buyers to have been lower if we pulled back there. But in any event, for now, buyers were there so far, and the bulls have moved price outside of this area. I would expect bulls to try to move it towards 560. Looks like 560 is the target, but I would also expect maybe to meet some resistance, but to maybe sell off a couple of times before they get there. We'll see. I wouldn't expect them to blast right through that area. It took them a while to get through this bearish area, and they're barely through anyway. So we'll see. We shall see. But S&P up 1.25%, NASDAQ up almost 2%. I mean, that's awesome. Bitcoin actually down 0.5%, but it's been leading the way. But we've been talking about this forever. We were talking about how Bitcoin reverted to this mean down here at 85 and then also at 87, 88. For the past few months, it had a dual kind of, or for the past month or so, it had a higher trading range and a lower trading range. Had been bouncing back and forth between. Well, the bulls took control of the situation, and ran it back up here right where we said they would, 94,000. And the only reason I said that is where they were targeting is because there was a prior trading range out there. So good job, bulls. Good job, bulls. I'm saying it looks like Bitcoin's ahead of the market by a day or two or a couple of days, but there's the bigger picture right there. What we were talking about, there was a lower trading range here at 84 and then kind of one developing at 86, 87. But the major mean for this upward distribution is right here at 95.6, and we're trying to get there. So we shall see. We shall see. It's where the bulls are trying to take us. Anyway, good job, bulls. Good job, bulls. Okay, let's check the model portfolio. I've looked already, and I was way underperforming today because the market's up. And yeah, here I am down here. I'm only up 31 basis points. Even the 60-40 portfolio is just throttling me right now. But what are you gonna do? You can't win every day. So let's see what's going on with my allocation. The good thing is the end of the month's coming up. I have some cash that's built up in the account somehow. I thought everything was on drip. I don't know how. I just figured it out. I don't think I put the new stuff I bought on drip. Well, that's fine. That's fine, because I'll take the cash at the end of the month and reallocate it. That's what it was. I bet the new stuff I bought, I don't think I clicked the drip option. So that's why there's cash in the account. Anyway, all right. Well, that's good. So I'm going to do some reallocation. All right. So let's see the contributions here. Where's my contribution chart? There's my contributions. Okay. GPTY is costing me freaking 8 basis points right now. Alti's making me 33 basis points. My hedge is costing me 24 basis points, which I would expect. That's offsetting Alti, but I should have all these. GPTY should be up, and that should be money ahead. My head should offset one of these. That's the idea. So anyway, GDXY is looking good. Gold's bouncing back today. YSPY looks nice. TLTW, good job. Bonds. That's why I was looking at that long-term chart of bonds. Did I do a good job buying TLT when I did? I'm going to weave here, but I'll weave back in a second. So down here on this bottom chart is interest rates. Well, no, so it was a 10-year yield. And you can see, I was trying to explain to a friend yesterday, and I have a hard time explaining to myself about the inverse relationship between price and yield with bonds, and how you hear people say bonds are getting killed. Some people are talking about price, but a lot of people are talking, when they say that, they mean interest rates anyway. But here it is as long as the yield in 2023 hit 4 or 5%, and it's been going sideways ever since. Once this yield starts coming down, I would theorize this would go back up, and maybe we can get back towards the top Bollinger Band, which would be like 124 something. That's if nothing changes, which it will change. But anyway, I'm hoping TLTW or even TLTs is a well-timed play. We shall see. I'm trying to, get the pullback. On the other hand, though, I'm in GDXY, and I pretty much bought the top of GDX because when did I get it? I got it, I don't know, a month ago. I got it in February 28th or whatever. So anyway, I didn't do a great job buying the top there. I'm a little bit worried about this one reversing on me. But anyway, all right, enough about me. So let's look at the buffer report and see what else is going on. Let's do the buffer report. Why is GPTY down? I mean, what is going on? So one of the stocks in their universe is down, obviously. I don't know which one yet. I was up till 4 last night working on a new video. Didn't get it finished, and I'm exhausted. I should have just gone to bed at the regular time and got up today and worked on it, because it's not like I got it finished anyway. All right. Well, here's the Yield Max buffer report. So, I mean, this is nice to see that every freaking thing in the Yield Max universe is up today. Bobo's pulling back a little bit. We don't really have any outperformance of the parents other than ULTY's outperforming. Let me go back here. Yeah, ULTY's making me 33 basis points, and it's a quarter of my portfolio. So, yeah, it's up more than 1%. Okay, now GPTY's turned around and is back up. That's good. That was just a bad print or something or whatever. So this is more what I like to see. So let's go back. This model portfolio is a little better looking now. All right, so now here I am at 62 basis points. Unfortunately, I'm still underperforming the 60-40, but all right, back to GPTY. What in the heck is going on with these guys? Here's LFGY looking good, of course. MAR and CleanSpark pulling back a little bit. Whatever, right? Who cares? Everything else is doing great. IBM, freaking IBM. I knew it. Man, down 6%. Do they have earnings today? That stock's a freaking dog. I've been telling everybody for months. Short IBM. I'm just joking. All right. And there's some days that's the only one that's up. That IBM or Intel and IBM last week was saved them a couple of times. So you never know. You never know. Okay, that's Chippy's looking really good. Maybe I just need to buy Chippy and forget about it, right? I mean, if the tariffs are off officially and stuff, and I don't know because they keep going back on and off. The tariffs kind of do the weave also, kind of like one of my live streams. So anyway, all right. What else should we talk about? There's no one even here today. Well, I see there's 3 of you here, which is awesome. But that's fine. All right, so let's do this. Let's talk about the dark pool then. That's fine. I got plenty of stuff to talk. You guys don't want to talk? I got stuff. I can talk all day long. That's fine. It's fine and dandy. Where did I shut the dark pool window? Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. What's that thing called? I got so many Trade Vision. I really do like Trade Vision. I guess I don't have it in this profile. I really do. Which profile do I have Trade Vision open in? TradeVision IO. How is it not open? I mean, I freaking, I have so many freaking, I don't even remember which one I signed in on. Anyway, I'm sorry. I should have had this open. I love this app. You got to be freaking kidding me. I've freaking got freaking. All right. I hate that app. That app's no good. Do not get that app. Do not get that app. Not at all. We're in the. You got to be freaking kidding me. All right. Well, I don't know. Anything you guys want to talk about, we can. Feel free to ask a question. All right. So somebody said something. Hey, Dan, what's up? I'm on the struggle bus this morning. I can't get anything to work. The freaking mainstream media. I've been shadow banned by YouTube, and they've canceled. They won't let. They've canceled my TradeVision account. Evidently. Now I have 3 profiles I use, and I can't remember which one I have it open in. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Dan. How are you doing? What are you trading today? I was up late looking at this. Let me show you what I was up late looking at. I was up late. I watched a Mike Green video. I'm obsessed with Mike Green. He's an option bro, and he's one of the smart ones, just like Jim Carson. I like both of those guys. Anyway, the Mike Green video sent me down a Simplify rabbit hole, and I started looking into some of their funds. And I'm doing a video on a new fund they have called This Is Why I Was Up Late. Like I say, I didn't get it done because then I got sidetracked trying to adopt this option strategy, what they're doing to my own account. And then I tried to back test it. Then I got in the back tester, and that's always a mistake. It's actually the back tester's fault, not the mainstream media today. It's usually the corporate media's fault, but today it's the backtester's fault, which is Tasty Trade. And, Tom Sosnoff, he's a huge liberal, and he's basically Illuminati. I mean, those guys control the world. I mean, so it's part of a plot to, it's part of a plot to keep me in Tasty Trade and to keep people like me from seeing what's really going on out there, right? I mean, because, Anyway, look at this thing, SBAR, Simplified Barrier Income. They picked a good time to bring this freaking thing out. All this is an option fund it's an income fund that sells options, but they sell a barrier option, which is a different kind of option. But anyway, it's fascinating. It's one of Mike Green's funds, but then I went from that to, he also manages a fund in the interview called FIG. I've heard of a fund called VIG, V-I-G, but that's not Simplify, I don't think. It's Vanguard or something, the Vanguard Growth Fund. Well, anyway, this is FIG. So FIG is a Simplify Macro Strategy ETF, and this fund has my name all over it. And I just discovered this about 3 o'clock in the morning last night. You look, I mean, it's gone straight sideways. I mean, it got hurt in the crash. It was down, I mean, from top to bottom, 15%, but it snapped right back. Doesn't pay much of a yield. Anyway, what this is it's a hedge fund. It's a fund of funds. And 20% of it is that other fund, SBAR, that just came out. And then they also have 20% in FOXY. It looks to me like they have like 20% in 5 different hedge fund strategies. They have like a currency, a currency strategy. That's what Foxy is, an FX strategy, a foreign currency strategy. Then they have a hard right here is a commodity strategy. And I bet that hard means hard assets. So in other words, commodities, but not, or in other words, futures, but not like bond or index futures. Those are, some people consider those commodities, or they're definitely futures, but they aren't commodities. So these are commodities like things you can hold in your hand, silver, platinum, and stuff. Anyway, this is almost reminds me kind of like a a Dragon portfolio, but they don't have 20% long volatility, at least I can find yet. But anyway, but then they have 20% or 23% SBAR, and that's just like it's just another way of doing an income fund. So that's, think of that like whatever, like SPY or whatever, it doesn't matter, QYLD, XYLD. But it's an interesting way to do it with the barrier option, and maybe it's more efficient. I don't know. But then they have 65% of their fund is whatever this is, ARC, blah, blah, blah. But then they have negative 65 is short that. So, then they have 25% long something and then short it too. So I and obviously I didn't get that part of it, but I think it's a hedge fund. It's basically a freaking hedge fund. And I love it. What hedge funds do is they give you, what do they call it? Non-correlated, some non-correlated growth, hopefully. I mean, this one hasn't grown a lot. It's gone straight sideways, but, they say the same thing like the anti-beta, it's like BTAL or a Chaos or whatever. But let's look at BTAL. I'm obsessed with BTAL. BTAL's gone pretty much straight sideways too, but BTAL did profit off this recent blow up pretty nice. But I'm obsessed with these types of funds that go generally the same way as the market, but not exactly in enough way to give you diversification. So anyway, I think that SBAR is a winner. And this FIG, I just found out about it, and then I got too sleepy to review it. But I need to finish my SBAR and FIG review right now. I just don't know why my trade vision's not working. I'm on a trial. That's why I use 3 different freaking accounts, because I used up my trial on my other password. So I just opened a new trial for another week on another, I have a burner account over here that I use to put when I want to leave like a bad freaking review somewhere, and I've only done it once, but I don't want it to be associated with my real name. But anyway, I could have sworn Trade Vision's on here, but it's whatever. It's whatever. You having a good day, Dan? You're all in on ETFs. Yeah, it's the media. I get my Dans confused. I have 2 Dans that always, Dantown jokes me about the mainstream media. Yeah, well, maybe both of the Dans do. I don't know, but I'm always making jokes about the mainstream media. But it's true. They don't want you to know the real truth. They just show you the entertainment stuff. Yeah, okay. What's FIG? FIG appears to be a fund of funds. It's run by a guy named Mike Green, who's an option bro that I really like. Let's just look at FIG really quick. It's a simplified fund. It would be considered, it's not really an option fund, but it would be considered a liquid alternative, definitely. And they do use options because it's 20% of it's a fund of funds, and 20% of FIG is a simplified fund that does sell options for income. So let's just look it up real quick. I just found out about it, like I say, at 3 o'clock in the morning. Choose an ETF. Okay, we want to find out about FIG, and Simplify is really good. Tom in our Discord has really been pretty happy, I think, with CTA. Maybe not lately, but EQLS is one there's FOXY. Somebody that I know is excited about FOXY. I don't know. I forget who has it. There's that hard. But anyway, okay, let's go here to FIG. So FIG is just appears to be like a fund of funds. It's called a macro strategy. Now let's see. I think it just started. I mean, it's 1% expense ratio. $10 million under. I think it just came. I just heard about it on the Mike Green interview last night. Well, anyway, so, okay, here's what they have. They have 15% of their fund is CTA, which I was just talking about. That's the one that Tom's in our Discord has been pretty happy with. And then so it looks like 20% is FOXY. So that's some type of foreign exchange currency strategy. I think it's trend following. And then I bet you they just do some kind of trend following. They buy the hottest exchange, the hottest FX, and short the other ones probably. but it's something I would never want to do, but I could easily see myself wanting to buy this fund. But this is a great use case because this is stuff I may know how to do a covered call. Anyone can do covered calls, but a lot of people can, but this stuff is way beyond covered calls when you get into managed future. And I mean, this is incredible. It's a great time to be an investor. Anyway, then HLRD. So that gives you some probably protection from inflation because it's hard commodities, I'm guessing. And then what's this? NXTI simplifies something. It's probably some type of growth fund, I bet. I don't know. Some Next International, who knows? I mean, SPQ is interesting to me. That's Simplify. Let's look at. I want to look at SPQ, but that's only 6% of the fund. We're gonna veer over into this SPQ lane. But then, other than that, beyond all that, looks like he's selling a put spread in gold. You can tell that because the 282 is negative and the 270 is positive for April. That's a spread. The higher number, so the higher strike is the sold strike. So that's a bullish bet. You just don't, if gold stays above 282, they get to keep all the money they made on that. Then they did the same thing. They did the same thing in April. They were just laddering out some gold exposure. Oh, look at these guys. This is incredible. They're selling MicroStrategy's premium. Now that's some balls right there. Look at that. Okay, this is a great fund. I guess it was worth it to stay up till 4. This is a really interesting fund. This is definitely going to be my next video. It's going to be on this fund. You guys are getting a sneak peek. And then they're also selling some Russell puts. I mean, so it's just a bullish fund. I mean, all these put positions will do great as long as the market is steady or doesn't go down too much. They're selling some S&P puts. And what else? And then besides that, they have 11% in T-bills. Well, more than that, than 3% in these T-bills. 15% in T-bills. And then they even have a little Chinese yuan, Singapore dollar. I'm sure that's just left over from a transaction or something. Just like a rounding error. But then I don't understand this. Then negative 63 cents PAYB payable, some type of maybe a note, probably payable MS. What's that? Morgan Stanley. Anyway. Basket, and they're short that basket. So it's probably some type of long short. So anyway, it could be any more up my alley. And that's something, like I say, we can sell puts all day long. That's easy to sell puts. And you can do the same thing the triple QI does. If you just want to sell a put every day, or I'd recommend selling a put spread or whatever, but you do that same type of stuff, and it's easy peasy. Person's never going to do this, or I'm not going to do this. Maybe Dan's going to be able to do this. But anyway, that's what FIG is. FIG is interesting to me. I don't know how long it's been around. Let's test it. But I also like it because Mike Green's involved. Oh, and it didn't show it, but somewhere else I've seen FIG. FIG has 20% of this fund called SBAR, which is a new Simplify fund also. It didn't show 20% of SBAR in there, but let's just see FIG versus SPY. Okay, so FIG's been around since April 10th. And FIG dogged the SPY. Look at that. Just in that, that's hedge fund type stuff. Now, FIG's not going to make you rich. I mean, FIG's only up 5%, but it outperformed by 15%. That's a pretty big difference, though. Anyway, that's impressive there. That is impressive there. You guys going to get FIG? I don't know if I'm probably not going to get it. I don't know if I need it, but I might look at it. Yeah, so that's what FIG is. Grateful Trader, what's up? You got LFGY. I'm thinking about it. I was just talking about cash is building up because I think I forgot to check the box on drip. So anyway, at the end of the month, I'm going to reallocate my stuff and build up cash, trying to figure out, what I'm going to get. I'm thinking about adding to some type of gold or adding to some type of bond. But then I really want to just buy an index, something, the Granite shares, the QQY or whatever, something based on, indexes. You know how I'm about indexes. We'll see. I'll make a show out of it. Okay. Grateful Trader GMMA. Let's look at that. But yeah, that fig is impressive. Okay, fig is impressive. Yeah, Gamma Road. I've looked this up before, and this was right up my alley because it was some type of hedge fund strategy, and I even think it was some type of switching strategy where they tried to get you in growth assets when growth assets were growing, and then switch to bonds when they weren't growing or something. It doesn't pay a yield. It doesn't appear like. People are buying it. It's a tiny fund. It only has 5 million under management. Who is this? Gamma Road. Okay, so this is an interesting. I wonder if they'll take us to the website. Yeah, this was interesting. I liked it, and it's one of the many things I was going to make a video about and never did because I got sidetracked, probably because of the mainstream media or the back tester. I was probably in the back tester. So this fund's rules-based process aims to avoid the worst drawdowns and capitalize on the most favorable market environments. I love the looks of it. And they follow a market vector, a Gamma Road U.S. Equity Strategy Index. The fund's investment strategy systematically evaluates 3 independent measures of market risk: behavioral, fundamental, and trend-based. Each measure is calculated on a different time horizon. This is so up my alley. But I mean, the theory and everything. Okay, yeah, this sounds great. But let's go over here. Okay, well, here's how they've done. I guess here's how they've done. Compared to, and I know we just discovered this, but compared to like a good fund, like Fig, which does the same type of stuff, or Chaos. I mean, this one's been around a little bit longer, but October, I don't know. I mean, Chaos is the most impressive one out of all these because Chaos doesn't bleed, but yet it still went up. And you could see it went way up, but then it came way back down too, because they're going long volatility. So they were way up when volatility was at a 60. 70, if volatility would have stayed there like it did in 2009, where it stayed over 30 for 4 months and over 50 for 2 weeks or something, and it did that I think in 2003 also for a little while. Then I think this price would have stayed higher and would have really helped you out. But this is supposed to hedge, and the market's kind of snapped back a little bit. And of course, your hedge just snapped back down, and it's basically back into line with the growth pattern it had. But I just like how that, I just like I like the looks of this. So, and then there's also TEL, and we always talk about TEL, and that's Cambria. That one did really well lately because they just buy puts, but the problem is they bleed. They kind of go down into the left, in an up market. So let's put on like a weekly chart. And where the bleed cost is, if you do a rebalance, if you do a quarterly rebalance, you're always having to sell something to add to one of these funds. And it's not that it can't be done. You can back test it and put TEL in the back tester, and it can still work. Some of these strategies can still work. But if you use more TAIL, more than just a little bit of that, or anything that bleeds a lot, you'll run a back test in 2023 when you should have been up. In 2024 you'll be down or something because you have too much TEL on there, and it's killing your return. All right, I'm still mad about Trade Vision. I don't know. I mean, what Trade Vision's doing, but anyway, you guys got me talking. So I like when you guys ask me questions, but I would really like to get the freaking. I want to see what's going on in the dark pool this morning. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear about LFGY. Like I say, at the end of the month, I'm going to make a video about what I add, and it'll probably be a combination of some of them, but a few of them. But I probably do need to want to add some crypto exposure in here now, and I'll probably not get add any more gold. I'll probably add crypto something and maybe some kind of bond something. And then a third, and then maybe put a third in some type of index, something. Or yeah, it could be Alti, it could be ULTY, but I want to get something I don't have. I want to get ULTY gives me exposure to one part of the economy, really pretty much the crypto part of the economy. ULTY has the same stocks as LFGY. Now that I think about it, I mean. But I just get FOMO every day when I see LFGY going up. I don't have any. I want to have a little bit just to have some, I guess. But basically, ULTY gives you, because you're selling options in Mara and Cleans, all those types of crazy stocks. So, but I don't really have exposure to the chip part of the economy. Maybe chippy, but on the other hand, GPTY has a lot of chippy stuff in there. So. I think between GPTY and ULTY, I pretty much have the bullish, if the market's going to be bullish, those should be awesome. I might like to, but it's cool to have some other ones too. Maybe so. We might like to have YMAX. If we ever got back above the 200-day moving average, YMAX is really interesting to me also. But anyway, we'll figure it out when we get there. All right. So you guys just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try to get this. Why is my Trade Vision not working? Trade Vision, switch to tab, but that's the one that said, I don't want that tab. New tab. I have a max convexity tab. I have a tab under my real name, and then I have it, which I try not to do on because I try to keep my real stuff there. So anyway, but then I have a burner, and I can't remember where Trade Vision. Maybe I put it under max. I thought that was last week. Anyway, this is a great tool whenever I can figure out how to freaking open it up. There it is. Thank the Lord. All right, now let's look at some Trade Vision. Let's just start from the top. Trends AI, let's see what's trending. Or let's see what their AI is doing. Well, let's just look at breakout. That hot really never does anything to me. Does anything for me. We have PLUR. They called that one yesterday. PLX, it's some type of biotech. Boy, they've been all over it too. Or it's been breaking out, and they've been right about it. They've been on it since too. Then Price Smart. Huh. I thought that was PetSmart when I just looked at the logo, but it's Price Smart. No. All right. $101 stock I've never heard of before. Price Smart. Toronto Dominion Bank. That's a good stock. I mean, that's a great stock. SAN is breaking out. That's a cheap stock. Banks are breaking out, looks like. Granger's breaking out. Alcon's breaking out. My brother-in-law is a big, I think a big, one of their big probably people that sells a lot of their product because I think they make that really good eye drops. Anyway, he's an optometrist. I think that's, maybe I'm getting confused, but I could totally be confused. But anyway, with the market going like this, where there's all kinds of bullish ideas, all kinds of bullish ideas. All right. VRT, isn't this one that's in ULTY sometimes, or is that VST, or both of them are? But this one might be, this is a growth stock that has a tendency to, this one might be a good one to VRT. Maybe we should do something in that for about a month from now. For the morning trade. All right. Well, let's see what else we have. Let's look at the dark pool. The dark pool wasn't working yesterday either. The dark pool is making me mad. I love this right here. It shows you the upcoming events because I never remember to turn on CNBC, or even if I have it on, I have the volume down. So, but you need to know whenever you have a number coming out. And this then I always forget to check though. But that's what else so good. Upcoming events. It tells you we had a durable goods order today, so that's already happened. Existing home sales today, that's already happened. Okay, and it looks like the dark pool is still jacked up because I need to talk to their people anyway and see about becoming an affiliate. I don't want to be an affiliate if this dark pool thing's not going to work. This was the coolest thing about it, where we could watch the big option trades go by. Yeah, it's not working today. All right, well, Soxel, BMAX, and Chippy added GPTY. Yeah, BMAX. I don't know. What was BMAX? That's some type of crypto something. All right, guys. Well, I don't know why my dark pool's not working, but it's making me mad. I got to. This should be working. Let's look at Visualizer for a second. I mean, this is impressive. I mean, I wonder look at this green and black. This is the AI. These are the past signals. When it went to green, it was telling it was buy. Went to black, it was sell. Anyway, you could see the last sell would have been great. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. The sell before that, you would have lost money on. The sell before that, you would have lost money on, but then this one you would have made enough to, I mean, my Lord. Anyway, that's just kind of the way it works. But at some point, and I would imagine pretty freaking soon, this thing's going to turn back to green. But what do they know? But they give you an automated support resistance for every asset, and man, they nailed it on support resistance on this one. All right, let's just look at Tesla. Maybe I'll just start looking at these. So Tesla's impressive too. They, I mean, as far as it was at support, long-term support, and it's trying to rally off long-term support. If you might be a good time to look at picking some up. Now they're saying the AI has supported 200, which it almost got to, and resistance at 300. Summer Man, what are you doing? I'm so glad you're here. This last year kind of falling apart. My freaking stuff's not working. Anyway, but no, I'm excited. There's some new cool ETFs from Simplify to talk about. So I'm going to get out of here and finish making them. I told you guys yesterday I caught AI lying to me. I mean, bold-faced lying. I mean, somebody was in here. It wasn't one of you guys. It was, I forget who it was. Maybe it was one of the Dans. But AI was freaking just told me just made up something. And anyway, I caught him, and I called him out on it. Claude apologized to me, and we got to straighten out. They promised me to check their facts better from now on. But anyway, I saw a really good video with Michael Green yesterday, and I put it in Discord. If you're in our Discord, go check it out. But for Michael Green, that took me down the rabbit hole to this new fund called SBAR, which is a Simplify fund, which they sell barrier options. It's just a different way to sell options. Anyway, but then I watched the Mike Green interview, and he talked about this fund called FIG. Anyway, go check it out if you haven't. Summit. You won't be able to get it anyway because you're up in Canada, and they don't give you the good stuff. Well, they don't give us the leverage stuff down here in the state. You guys get more leverage stuff, but anyway, that's what it is. I guess it's been around longer than I thought. Anyway, it's basically a hedge fund and an ETF package. and it's a fund of funds, but it's really interesting to me. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here and go finish the video on SBAR. And but did you guys see that on the daily? It's not bleeding, okay? Because we've had some down action, and it kind of monetizes that and turned it into sideways action. But if you look to like weekly, if you look back at a longer time frame, as good as this is, during a true face ripping bull market, these types of hedge fund strategies are intended to diversify you a little bit, so they might go opposite direction at sometimes, but they can go the opposite direction at key times, like recently, which it really has done, you know. So but in 2023, 2024, they were bleeding, but ever so slightly. They bled from 25 down to 20. I mean, that's pretty that's 20% in a year. I mean, it's not exactly like triple QI, but I'm just joking. All right, guys, this live stream's falling apart. I'm gonna get out of here. I will, but I appreciate y'all for being here. Maybe I'll come back and do a lunch or something. I need to get this other video out. All right, guys, you have a good day.